Tragedy unfolds in Gaza. Over 300 lives lost in 48 hours as truce talks continue. In an alarming surge of violence, more than 300 Palestinians tragically lost their lives within just 2 days. As reported by the Gaza government media office, they stated that Israel executed what they described as 26 bloody massacres during this period. The recent hostilities have taken a severe toll, with at least 73 Palestinians losing their lives since Thursday morning, including 33 individuals seeking aid at the contentious Gaza Humanitarian Foundation GHF aid site, a humanitarian initiative supported by the United States. In southern Gaza, an attack on a tent in Al-Mawasi resulted in the death of 13 people. Near the city of Gaza, an assault on Mustafa Hafez school, where many displaced families were sheltering, led to 16 fatalities and numerous injuries. According to medical sources, these latest attacks have predominantly targeted civilian shelters and displacement centers, crowded with thousands of people seeking refuge, as well as public spaces, homes, markets, and other essential facilities. In Deir el-Balah, where recent casualties have been reported near GHS aid centers, Al Jazeera's Tariq Abu Azum shared harrowing accounts from survivors who described being caught in the chaos of unprovoked gunfire as they sought basic food supplies. Shockingly, emergency services and medical teams were reportedly unable to reach the scene due to the severity of the violence. This situation points to a growing humanitarian crisis in Gaza, where civilian safety seems increasingly out of reach. But here's where it gets controversial. The situation has escalated further, with reports that US contractors responsible for security at these aid sites have been using live ammunition and stun grenades during food distribution. Some contractors, speaking on condition of anonymity, expressed concerns about the protocols and qualifications of the security personnel. They described these guards as heavy-handed, ill-trained, and seemingly operating without accountability. And this is the part most people miss. An Israeli statement countered a Haaretz report suggesting Israeli troops had targeted Palestinians at aid sites. The Israeli military emphasized that they do not intentionally harm civilians, and they believe casualty numbers in media reports are exaggerated. However, this response follows a familiar pattern from Israeli authorities. GHF has drawn criticism for reportedly shifting the humanitarian landscape in Gaza and allegedly pursuing measures to exert maximum pressure on civilians. This has raised alarms about the potential manipulation of aid efforts as a tool for influencing the ongoing conflict. In response, more than 130 humanitarian organizations, including prominent groups like Oxfam, Save the Children, and Amnesty International, have called for the immediate closure of GHF. These organizations claim Israel's armed forces and groups often open fire on civilians at food distribution points. Since GHF's operations began in late May, over 600 Palestinians have perished while seeking aid, with nearly 4,000 more injured. Numbers from Gaza's Ministry of Health underscore the heavy toll of the ongoing conflict, which has seen over 56,000 Palestinian casualties and over 134,000 injured. This is compared to the more than 1 million lives lost in earlier conflicts. But as the possible ceasefire in the balance, Hamas is reviewing a new proposal for a 60-day ceasefire, aiming to end the enduring conflict, then secure an Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. Recent negotiations concluded discussions aimed at bridging differences and returning to talks for a ceasefire agreement. Amidst all this, US President Joe Biden has been pressing both Israel and Hamas to accept a ceasefire to prevent conditions from deteriorating further. This situation remains highly volatile, and it is essential for all parties to consider the impacts on civilians and seek lasting peace. What are your thoughts? Do you believe these measures could lead to much-needed relief? Or is there more that needs to be done to ensure the safety of civilians in this challenging situation? Share your perspective in the comments.